Welcome to Figure Skating Land. This is your host, Jilly. I'm going to be walking you through the Russian Nationals. Now, I must admit, I didn't get to watch that much of Nationals. All I'm relying on are a couple clips here and there. I did get to see, full programs, but I just want to be transparent about that. Before I get into talking about Nationals, though, as many of you all know, ISU released a statement saying that Russian and Belarusian skaters will be able to compete in a qualifying event for the Olympics under a neutral status. As for eligibility criteria, Russia and Belarus federations can submit one female, one male, one pair, and one ice dance team. And they can also submit substitutions, but it sounds like the substitutions can only be substituted for the criterion event. And they must do this by, February 1st, 2025, or around the date of February 28th, 2025. And this seems pretty early, but it sounds like they're wanting to get the skaters' names fairly quickly so that they can have quite a lengthy time probably to investigate each of the skaters, as the qualifying event is not being held until September 2025 in China. Part of the criteria is that the skaters must show that they have neutral status. And so it doesn't quite have listed what could qualify as not being neutral. There's some speculation that they could be strict to the point where they may not even allow people who took pictures with Putin after the Olympics to qualify. I personally don't know if that would be something that they would be strict about, because that seems to be something that is part of a formality. A lot of Olympians in America will go and take pictures with the president afterwards. I don't know, though, how much that would be a sticking point, because then I think literally only probably like Anna Shcherbakova or anybody who didn't go to the Olympics would be getting to go. Another criteria that was listed is a skater cannot be associated with a person serving a doping violation suspension. An interesting take, because she's able to have other skaters at the Olympics, it seems like. Viteri is able to have Georgian skaters at Grand Prix events, so I don't know how they can really say that none of her skaters can go, but then her skaters from different countries can go. So that would be, I think that would be just difficult, honestly, for them to pull that off. But I could see kind of the sentiment of why they put that in there. But I also think that maybe it won't be able to be held up much unless it was going against maybe a skater that has an active doping violation themselves. Like the associated part, it's just funky. I'll be intrigued to see who they end up picking, and we'll get to find out within a couple weeks, a couple months. I don't know a lot of the newer Russian figure skaters, and this is what led me to watch Nationals, because after the 2022 Olympics, I haven't got to see that many competitions. And so I watched it hoping to know who may we end up seeing and who do I need to probably learn more about. Leave me a comment down below if you have any idea who they may pick, or if there's somebody you would like to see. I know personally I'm kind of heartbroken for Alexandra Trusova. I know that she had mentioned in an interview recently that she would love to go to the 2026 Olympics. And, she probably at the time didn't think, I need to go to, this Nationals now in order to get to go. But unfortunately, there's not enough time, I feel like, for her to get to prove herself, to get to go, unless somehow she shows up at some random event and is like, hey, here's my 9 million quads again. As for the actual event, so in first place was Adeliia Petrosian. And I was surprised because I haven't seen her skate in so many years. And so she has grown up so much. She did this tango program that was really nice. And, I saw her doing like Michael Jackson, and I've seen her do some slower, more traditional type of programs. But this was a delightful treat. And it makes me also wonder, why is tango back in figure skating? Not that I mind, but it's kind of up there now with Dune. Like somehow Dune and tango just popped into figure skating overnight. But anyway, watching her was a treat because I haven't seen her skate in a few years, and she kind of reminds me of having that whole package. Like she has the skating skills and she has the Ultra C elements. I imagine that she's going to be the one that they're going to end up picking for the qualifying event and for the Olympics. I just couldn't imagine why they wouldn't, unless they did worry about that clause about someone associated with someone involved in a doping case. I do kind of worry though, if she ends up getting sent, that will be her first international event as a senior. And so she does seem to have nerves of steel. And I read in an interview that she was actually nervous. Now, I don't know, of course, there could always be a translation issue, but I read that she was nervous before her free program, and it really wasn't obvious here. It was nice to get to see Anna Shcherbakova afterwards, giving her a standing ovation. It's been a while since I've seen Anna. I think I've read that she's had a couple surgeries and may have gotten some of her triples back, if not all of them. But it was just nice to see Anna relaxed and happy. I actually got to see both Daria Sadkova's short and free program, which is one of the very few that I got to see only that I got to see both programs for. For her short program, there was this moment where she actually just kind of like skated into the boards and fell. But then she came out of it and then did her combo. So I think she was setting up for her combo when she hit the boards and then still was able to do it. So that was pretty badass there, being able to do that. As for her free program, I didn't get to find a version with music. It was muted, and I can't read Russian to know exactly what she skated to. It looks like it was probably like a ballad or something classical of some sort, but it's also hard to judge on my end the speed because the clips I saw were a little bit distorted and glitchy. So it didn't look like it was probably more like a powerful, kind of just based on how I saw it. But regardless, one thing that stuck out to me that she has a lot of ice coverage, and she also has these lunges that are pretty impressive. One thing that really stood out to me also was her jumps are huge. Oh my gosh, like I don't know, it's just of course I'm not used to seeing quads in the women's event as much, but it really was like, wow, even her triples though seem pretty impressive. Her spins are also pretty fast, and so that is impressive, kind of all the different rolls when it comes to spins. So overall, I was pleased with the two skates that I saw of hers, even when she, went into the boards, which it was also funny because there's a clip where you could see it's almost as if Terry's trying not to giggle a bit. It's like a Terry skaters and hitting those boards, man. And in third place was Alina Gorbacheva. This was one of my first times getting to watch her skate. I watched her a little bit briefly when there were rumors that she was missing at one point, so I watched her then. I must say, she didn't stand out to me as much as the other two women, but still one thing that did jump out at me was how fast her rotations are. Like, she is a speedy skater and so fast on the rotations. It broke my heart though to see her so upset with herself over the fall. She still got her bronze, but I can tell, it's devastating to have that fall when the other women, are skating clean. But this is still, a good outing for her. And I do hope to kind of see her more. I haven't got exposed to her that much. Well, I didn't get to watch any of the men's clips. Didn't get to watch any of the ice dancing. There was only one pair team that I got to watch, and that was Mishina and Galliamov. It's been a bit since I've watched them skate, probably since 2022 when they had those really fantastical programs. Here they skated to Michael Jackson, and I can kind of see though why, if they're not doing any international programs, why they may branch out a bit. It was fun. I would be interested to see them do something, of course, more powerful. But again, they probably didn't think, we're going to be, skating to get an Olympic spot or something. One thing that did surprise me is I either forgot or they've changed just how amazing their side-by-side jumps are. They are so close to one another. They are like right up close to the point where I'm like, oh my gosh, they're almost like one. So that was something that was fantastical to see. And oh my gosh, their throws. I forgot how their throws were. So overall, it was kind of like a nice blast from the past to see them. And so I don't know, again, for sure, if we'll be seeing them at the Olympics. There were talks about how, he took pictures with Putin, but I don't know kind of the whole story, but we shall see. And that is it for my Russian nationals coverage. I just didn't get to see that many things, mainly only the women and one pair team, as I said earlier. I have been watching the Aliona Kostornaia documentary, and thank you to the unsung heroes who translated it for us. To me, it feels so different watching Russian figure skating and not really seeing any of the 3A. I was such a huge fan of them in 2019, so it's kind of an adjustment for me to not see them. I was always a huge Sasha Trusova fan, which I know. Like, people will talk about her musicality and skating skills, but there was something about her, like, grit that I really enjoyed, and I was always rooting for her, and it was very disappointing as a fan to root for her a lot. I mean, I remember watching the 2022 Olympics, and when she did to go to the triple axel in the short program and fail, I knew that was probably going to be the end of the chances of her getting the Olympic gold medal. I think I screamed like bloody murder. I think it was even at work. I don't remember. I may not have been at work for that one. But then the free program where she managed to land all those quads, and then there was that heartbreaking reaction to when she didn't get the gold. So it's been a bit since I've watched Russian skating for, many reasons. So we shall see if there's any other programs that we'll get to see before they do qualify or don't qualify for the Olympics, because there are a lot of skaters and personalities that we in America just don't quite know right now. And so we haven't been following, well, some of course may have, but we haven't got the opportunity to follow a lot of these skaters. And so when they end up in these events, unless they're ones from like 2022, and I'm also curious to see kind of how things will shake out now that the Russians may be back. I'm thinking in particular about the women's event and in pairs. So, thinking about like Deanna and Max, I thought of them as maybe, either the front runners for gold or definitely Olympic medal. And so seeing them against the Russians, how that will shake out, it will probably mean that Deanna will go into fighter mode, and maybe they'll gain like another triple in their program, but their free program. And then in the women, speaking about, Russian figure skater against Chiari or Amber Glenn. So Amber Glenn does have the triple axel now, but she does not have any quads. And so it's just gonna be interesting. I'm also curious to see kind of what maybe some of their reactions were, because it may have been unexpected. I know I personally didn't expect that this would happen. Although I did once there was the publication saying that the qualifying event would be in China. And that does seem like the easiest place for a Russian to travel to at this point. So that's what I was thinking, and along with a lot of others on the internet, like, okay, this is definitely probably going to be a Russian qualifying event, which was correct. So it's no longer foreign. Oh, and let me know either, your predictions about which figure skaters they will choose, or kind of your overall thoughts about the matter. There are a lot of different opinions out there. And so I'd just be curious to see kind of what maybe some of y'all are thinking. I know that I've only been covering figure skating for about like the Grand Prix series. Now, I did record some vlogs for the 2023-2024 season, but please do not judge my vlogs based upon those from back then. I must say I have improved my editing skills, and you'll get to see that at US Nationals, where I'll be vlogging the experience, and we'll have, just much more kind of organized fashion in my disorganized way of doing vlogs. But so I digress. And so I haven't really got to, talk about Russian figure skating on this platform. And so I'm not quite sure kind of what everybody's viewpoint is. And so, or I also don't know, like y'all may know more about which skaters may be likely to be picked more than I would. So just leave me a comment and let me know. Right, y'all? Thanks for stopping by. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see y'all next week.